Hello and welcome to my presentation. I am Kanchan Jodhkar and I will be presenting our work on Smart Prompt Advisor, a multi-objective framework for consistency and best practices. Large language models, or as we call them LLMs, have revolutionized the way we perform software engineering. To interact with these models, we leverage prompt as a set of instructions or actions to perform a task. The quality of these prompts regulate the quality of the output these LLM models provide. As LLMs is on the onset of overthrowing the full stack development skills, prompt engineering is now becoming the hottest new skill to ace these LLM tools. While these LLMs are famous to do a pretty good job in providing accurate solutions, these often miss out on the developer's intellect while providing these solutions. While developer is subconsciously aware of project semantics and industry standards while coding, these are often sidelined when creating prompts for LLMs. The main key shortcoming of these LLM-based development lies wherein the prompt should be enhanced to reflect a code-based best practices which are specific to company or project-specific guidelines. If these are not adhered properly, can lead to potential loss while addressing security loopholes, maintenance of buggy assets, and so forth. B. Design choices. So we make software solution more proficient and efficient. Design principles have been in focus for long. Often these LLM models, if not explicitly specified, tend to miss out on the best suited design principles to be followed. C. Many minds, many intent. Since software solutions are truly global, different persons working on a same project without understanding the project semantics can create code using LLMs, which can lead to potential inconsistencies across projects semantics. While we've understood the key challenges, one of the way out that we foresee is augmenting the prompt. Herein we bring our framework, Smart Prompt Advisor, that assists developers in enhancing the prompt based on project semantics and best practices. Let us understand the Smart Prompt Advisor framework. This framework is designed as a plugin to Visual Studio Code to assist developers in refining the prompt while they are coding for the project with minimum context switching. The framework takes as input natural language prompt, which is passed on to the middleware that becomes the entry point to the Smart Prompt Advisor. The middleware is responsible for aligning the calls to various modules that perform the analysis on the prompt. Based on the prompt characteristics, the intent is identified and passed on to relevant modules such as best practices module for enhancing the prompt for industry standards and consistency checker module to align the prompt with project semantics. The best practices module leverages the domain ontology to align with the intent of the prompt and provide with keywords to enhance the prompt. Similarly, the consistency checker module that keeps a repository of previous prompts and application configuration leverages this information to pass the input prompt and enhance it in accordance with the project semantics, which is the historical prompts. The enhanced keywords are then passed onto the prompt transformation module through the middleware to align the keywords in the original prompt. This transformation ensures that the new generated prompt is complete and in lines with the project semantics and industry standards. Let us dive a little deeper into each of these core modules to understand the technical working. Let us consider a prompt of extracting product transaction details from last 6 months from a database. This prompt is passed to identify the domain and intent of the activity that is being performed. If the information provided by the user is complete, it is passed on to the knowledge graph to identify the corresponding practices in line with the domain and intent of the prompt. Relevant suffix and prefix that need to be attended to the original prompt are identified and then sent to prompt enhancement module for transformation. In parallel to the best practices module, consistency checker module also ensures that the prompt is enhanced in accordance to the project semantics. This module maintains a prompt repository, which is the record of historical prompts leveraged by the user to design the solution. This helps in ensuring consistency across modules. On receiving the input prompt, the component dependency parser identifies the corresponding dependent modules and or the files in the project structure that are relevant to the input prompt. Based on this information, the prompt repository is queried to identify historical prompts related to the input prompt. Using the project semantics, the historic prompts, keywords are identified that are leveraged to enhance the prompt in the transformation module. The keywords in the form of suffix and prefix are identified from the best practices module, while the consistency checker module provides with the relevant keywords to be enhanced. This information is passed on to the prompt transformation module that uses OpenAI's Text DaVinci 003 module along with prompt template to enhance the input prompt. The reason for leveraging Text DaVinci 3 module is due to its proven ability to transform any text consistently as compared to any other NLP modules. As we can see, the input prompt was only focused on providing with transaction details for the last 6 months from the database. While enhancing it, it has information from the best practices module which says it also needs to authenticate using mask password, and from the consistency checker to use the format of DDMMYY format, which is as per the previous historical prompts. Let us consider an online retail application having front-end and back-end modules. Multiple developers are involved in building this application using code gen tools. John is responsible for front-end module development. One of the activities of John is to capture the information and send it to the backend using REST APIs. On the other hand, Adam and Alice are responsible for backend code development. Adam stores the retrieved information into the database while Alice retrieves it from the database for analytics. Now we shall see how the Smart Prompt Advisor helps John in maintaining the best practices while helps remediating inconsistencies in case of Alice and Adam. John creates an API call for sending order information to the backend through LLM code-based tool. The code suggested lacks project specification, best practices, and coding policies. We trigger the Smart Prompt Advisor for solutions. The Smart Prompt Advisor uses the project-specific best practices and design choices artifacts for the development workspace for prompt analysis. The advisor augments the prompt with coding best practices such as authenticate and verify the status code. Once John accepts the prompt, he is now able to see the new generated code to be compliant with the project-specific standards and best practices. Now let us observe the second case of Smart Prompt Advisor in avoiding coding inconsistencies in code-dependent modules. Adam's task is to develop a component to insert order details into the database. As we can see, it is the Smart Prompt Advisor that enhances the input prompt based on application specifications to explicitly use MySQL database for insertion. Based on the prompt's intent, the code is generated to insert the data in the DDMMYY format. The Smart Prompt Advisor saves this information into the prompt repository for consistent code generation. Alice, on the other hand, is working on retrieving the information from the database for analytics. As can be seen, the code generated for Alice retrieves the data in YYMMDD format, which is inconsistent format as compared to Adam that it used for insertion. This can lead to undesirable results such as empty results. To align the two formats, the Smart Prompt Advisor suggests to refine the input prompt to include DDMMYY format. The generated code from the new prompt follows project-specific coding standard and is in line with the project semantics and teams used prompt in the past. As developers start using prompt-based software development at scale, it becomes essential to evaluate and improve the quality of prompts. Smart Prompt Advisor is a developer's peer programmer that continuously improves developers' work early on in the development lifecycle. As for the state-of-the-art analysis, we saw a gap between the way prompts were leveraged to generate code. To fill in this gap, we introduced Smart Prompt Advisor that assists developers in creating prompts that are in line with the project semantics and industry standards and best practices. This helped developers to organize their chain of thoughts and minimize the prompt iteration, thereby reducing the time to market solutions. As future work, we would want to nudge the developers to adopt sustainable patterns of software development. Hence, we'll try to incorporate sustainable best practices. Thank you, and we are happy to take up any more questions.